This week, the Snark podcast is brought to you by The Movie Clerk. Miss the days of the video store where you didn't need any details to have a movie found for you? The Movie Clerk is offering that feeling again by bringing back former video store employees to the only job that they ever loved. Longing to have information readily available on the internet told to you by a retail worker who smells vaguely of weed? Then The Movie Clerk is for you. What's that movie with the guy with the face? Or the one with that girl you know? The one that she was on that show you like? No need to turn to the internet. Just call our dedicated hotline and one of our movie technicians will let you know that that guy with the face is Ryan Gosling in La La Land and that girl from that show you like is Emilia Clarke in Terminator Genisys. Craving a truly nostalgic experience? Then go to one of our in-store kiosks to be ignored by a teen who is working their first job or judged by a man in his 30s who's working on his unpublished screenplay during work hours. And that guy doesn't understand how you don't know that The Hunger Games is just a knockoff of a Japanese movie called Battle Royale. Sign up today and receive 30% off your next recommendation with the code SNARKMARKS. That's The Movie Clerks. We don't make movies, we just watch them.
All right, this is where I would play the theme song, but you guys saw us try to load the theme song last week. It didn't work very well, and now it's not working at all on this thing that we pay for. So well, I'll just play it now. The magic of editing. Welcome to Snark Marks, everybody. We are
just imagine the theme song. You know the theme song.
Yeah, we are a very funny podcast out of Central Valley of California. I'm Andrew. That's Dusty.
Hey.
Follow us on YouTube. We are now on YouTube. I'm releasing the full video shits, so you can see our smiling, beautiful faces. I'm making like a sick border. Did you see the border this week, Dusty?
I did see the border. Nice work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll take a drink of my hot toddy after you said that. God, that toddy's hot. Follow us on Instagram at SnarkMarksPod. I'm on Instagram at Andrew Idell. Dusty's on Twitter at SnarkMarkD. Dusty, you got to get on that Instagram, dog.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really do any of those things. Like I rarely post on Facebook. I rarely post on Twitter anymore.
That's the thing, though. Go ahead. Sorry.
And Instagram, I just don't think that anything I'm doing is ever that interesting. And so I'm like, who would care? And I'd just be taking pictures of the same place. Here's me at the movie theater this week. And then here's me at the movie theater again next week.
You got to understand, Dusty. You either have to be an uninteresting person who does interesting things or an interesting person. And you're an interesting person.
Perhaps. I don't know. I don't even think I'm that interesting, you know?
Yeah, but that's because it's you. You know,
right.
I don't interest me, even though I know I'm interesting. That's the difference between us.
Oh, right.
I'm a little real. I'll let myself go there. My cat is just steady knocking pills off of my counter right now. I've got my medicine on my counter. He loves knocking it off the counter. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I was gonna say, is your hot toddy for medicinal purposes? That's the only reason people drink hot toddies, right? Or is it an enjoyment toddy?
If you're drinking something with alcohol for medicinal purposes, you're missing the point of medicinal purposes, right? Yeah. Because alcohol is really bad for your immune system. You know what I mean?
Tell it to Doc Holliday, dude. You know what I mean?
He's dead as fuck. You know, I was gonna have.
I guess ultimately it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
If you're using that as your scale, then nothing's good enough. You know?
I ain't never gonna die. Watch me.
Yeah.
Prove that I'm wrong right now. You can't. Yeah. God has tried to kill me millions of times. God can't do it. If God can't do it, who can?
Yeah. If only man could be subsist off of his ego, then he would truly never die.
No, I went to Vaughn's. I was gonna make hot buttered bourbon.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's what it is. It's hot. You take apple cider, you simmer it in a saucepan. You then take some butter and some cinnamon and some nutmeg and some cloves, and you whisk all that shit up, and you put it in the simmering cider, and then you let that steep and get all nice and fucking buttery and creamy and all that good stuff. And then you put it in a thing, and then you put bourbon in it, and you get drunk. You know what I mean? But
you get winter drunk. where it's
Yeah.
warm and nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
goddamn. So I was like, I was in Vaughn's and I had the spices in my little hand cart thing. And I'm standing there and I go, you know what? This drink is going to give me a stomach ache.
It does sound it does sound sweet for your
Yeah.
tastes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I will at some point do the buttered bourbon. Okay.
Yeah.
I did buttered rum at my sister Amy's house. It was really good. I want to try the buttered bourbon because I'm more of a whiskey guy. Don't really like rum that much. But I went with hot toddy because it's just lemon, honey, water, cinnamon stick, and some good old American Maker's Mark whiskey. You know what I mean?
Okay. Nice. Now, when you make the buttered bourbon, are you going to buy?
God, that toddy's hot. Sorry.
Are you going to buy a nice bourbon, kind of middle of the road bourbon?
I'll probably just make it with Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark's pretty good. It's not the
Maker's
best.
Mark is pretty good.
Yeah. So I got
like Bullet. Bullet's pretty good.
That was actually the one I went to go get was Bullet. Yeah. I do like Bullet quite a bit. I don't know which one is like considered the better one, but Maker's Mark I've always liked, and being a Vaughn's member, I got a really good price on this Maker's Mark. Right. They were very similarly priced, and I've always liked Maker's Mark. So
Maker's Mark also feels fancy because it has the wax seal.
Yeah.
That makes it seem like it's like, I don't know the contents or like how they make it or any of those things, but I know that they're the only ones that are like stamped with a candle, and that makes it certainly seem like it's much better.
You don't wax seal garbage. You know what I mean? Why would you wax seal it?
Yeah, it's just going to seep out anyway, you know?
Imagine if like Jack Daniels was wax sealed. Oh man, the hillbillies would go crazy. I hurt myself today trying to get the wax off this goddamn thing. Because you have the tab that you pull off, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm an idiot, and
makes it seem like it's from a king, you know.
So yeah, so I pull the tab all the way around, and then I tried to peel the wax like off the cap on the top.
Yeah,
how'd that go? Stuck to that cap.
Yeah,
I almost ripped like 3 of my fingernails off doing that.
They're not making an inferior product. I'll tell you that.
No, they're not.
Like that baby is sealed up.
They know how to wax that shit. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, everybody who's listening, of course, this comes out on Christmas Eve. So we've sort of created a holiday themed show. And of course, happy holidays to everyone who celebrates, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have a great time. What do you have any family like Christmas traditions from when you were a kid, Andrew? Is there like anything from when you were growing up?
Well, we used to get together and do strawberry waffles every morning on Christmas. We'd do strawberry waffles with bacon and coffee. We'd be all in our jammies, and then all the kids would open presents. This was at my sister's husband's family's house. And then everybody fucked off to Idaho, so I don't have anything. I literally called my dad today. It's 4 days till Christmas, and I was like, "Hey, what are we doing for Christmas?" And he's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, because at least a considerable part of your family still lives here, so you could get together.
But the fun ones bounce. You know what I mean? It's just me and my dad. No, I love my dad, but we don't have established traditions anymore because the established traditions were with everybody who moved. So it's been chicken with our head cut off situation for a few years now. You know, there's gonna be one of these years that I just like. I'm going to like Costa Rica for Christmas. You know,
I was going to say, I'm surprised that you don't play golf on Christmas, but I don't know if you can play golf on Christmas.
It's weather permitting. I don't think golf courses are surprisingly pretty open on holidays. I don't know if they're open on Christmas though. I don't know. I haven't checked, but I haven't played golf in a while. I've lived in Bakersfield since May. I haven't played a full 18 holes of golf, except for those tournaments that I played in 2 times. The whole time I've lived here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've been
time permitting is a issue.
Yeah,
or you're spoiled and you're like, I will only play if there are minor celebrities or Anthony Anderson at the golf course whenever I go.
Yeah, I'll only play if Miss Parker from Friday's on my team from now on.
Right. Which really puts you in a tough situation for like
Yeah,
a
because
week of a game.
Kathleen is a busy woman. She's a very sweet woman, but no, it's expensive. It takes a lot of time. I want to go to the gym, and I barely have very much time at all. By the way, we got to do our goals podcast next week.
Right. That's the new year.
I don't know if you
Well,
were
we
thinking
have
about
to talk about if
we have
we
to
achieved
recap
the
the goals, and then we have to set new goals.
New goals, yeah.
So, and so I'm still like every week the goal. Well, for a little teaser on the goals podcast, doing a goal for how many times I want to go to the gym a week has really helped me go to the gym a lot more.
Nice.
But having to go to the gym so often has really made me sacrifice playing golf, which kind of sucks. So I got to figure out. I got to play more golf in 2024. Golf's good for me. So, but
like
I did
as
practice.
A kid, oh, you did
a few
practice?
times.
Okay.
Yeah, I practiced a little bit.
But like as a kid, do you have like a favorite Christmas like thing you used to do?
Listen, way to walk me back to the topic. I appreciate that.
You know.
No, you know.
I think I can speak for both of us.
Man,
like,
that toddy's hot.
Yeah, a lot of my early Christmas traditions or memories are all related to church, being in the church play, going to the church,
the candlelight service,
yeah, and like I can't go to the Christmas play now because it's bad. They're all bad. Like I know everybody's trying their hardest, but it's difficult, to sit there and just like we're telling the story of Jesus, and it's just like everybody's forgetting their lines. There's 3 kids that are sheep. Like it's a tough go all the way around.
You're in the back going, not believable.
I don't believe that kid could be the savior.
This is pedantic.
Look, I'm saying I've seen movies now, and I was a bad kid actor. It's not my fault. You just, you're doing the best you can. But like, that's a lot of like early memories. And then I just remember every year breaking down my poor, overworked mom for Christmas presents as soon as they were available. Hey, let me open one of those. Hey, let me get one of those.
She's too tired to say no.
Well, about day 18, it's just like, if you open this, will you leave me alone? And because that also coincided with school break. You know what I mean? So like now I'm there all the time, and there's just unrelenting. Like, let me just get one. Let me get at one of these things, and then by Christmas, by Christmas Eve, game over, dude. So I won, but I lost because I would always say, oh, I won't be mad that I don't have anything to open on Christmas. I'll have all this new awesome stuff, so I won't care. But then Christmas gets there, a little bit sad, nothing to open,
Yeah, I was a little similar in the sense that I didn't ask to open presents early, but pretty often I would do the whole, hey, can I get this? It counts as my Christmas present situation.
Right.
I pulled that shit a few times, and I got a baseball glove and like basketball shoes, and it was usually nice sports gear. They got me
right
because I didn't really give a shit about anything else. So like,
if you're cashing that in early, then it's real tough. If your parents hold you to your word,
Yeah, well, we were poor, so like,
right.
we would like, but I remember the most excited I've ever been, I think, except for gaming consoles. I mean, the Christmas you got the PlayStation was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just absolutely unbelievable.
That's an all-time. That's the core memory if someone wants me to think of something joyful,
Your life changed. Yeah. I remember my sister like being like, we got a PlayStation, like freaking out. But aside from game console, I remember walking into our living room and seeing a golf bag that has a stand, like one of those. You've seen those where you like, you put it down, the legs kick out. Oh, yeah. I was the coolest fucking person. It was a Wilson bag. I was so excited. I was so like, I loved my dad so much when I saw that freaking thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I you miss Christmas a little bit. There's also been some fucking really bad gifts. People would give me Transformers, not knowing that I'm a weirdo kid that didn't like toys.
Right. You'd rather just throw a baseball against a wall for 7
Yeah.
hours.
Give
Yeah.
me a bouncy ball on a wall. I like that a lot more
Yeah.
than whatever fucking remote control car that you gave me. You know what I
You
mean?
are kind of a cat, like as a pro, because like we bought some cat toys for our cats recently, and the thing they love the most is the box that the cat toys came in. So like
Oh yeah.
they'll both. There are 3 cats. 2 of them will try to be in this box at the same time. Like they both love this box, and they could
Oh
not
yeah.
care less about the toy that we got.
Yeah.
They hate the toy. Like they just want to be in that box. So
Listen, everybody knows that I want to be in that box, Dusty.
yeah.
Man, that toddy's hot.
my greatest Christmas, I don't know, because we were also poor. Like I don't know how my mom pulled this off, but I remember it might not even been Christmas Day. I think it was around Christmas. She came home one day and was just like, "Hey, there's something in the trunk. Can you come help me get it?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And
it was your biggest enemy, hog-tied in the trunk.
Yeah, it was the second grader who used to pick on me also. So I opened the trunk and there's a karate gi in there and it's
fucking great.
A Super Nintendo. Like,
oh my god,
yeah,
that is born in the 80s / 90 kid fucking jackpot.
That's the gold medal, dude.
That's and a Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Now, was I signed up for karate classes? No, I was not. Did I have an interest in karate? Of course I did.
Now there's an Asian kid in Exeter with no clothes on, walking the streets looking for the woman who stole his Super Nintendo.
Well, here's what I think happened, because like we definitely didn't have it like that,
Yeah.
And like my mom used to take my Nintendo to the pawn shop when it had value to pawn my Nintendo and my games, like if we had to pay the electric bill or something. And like she would always frame it.
She'd be like, "Look, though, I'm gonna get you this."
Yeah, right.
Every once in a while, it's not gonna be here.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, she would frame it as though it were my decision. She would be like, "Is it okay if I pawn the Nintendo to pay the light bill?" And I'd be like, "Well, I'm like 8 years old," and I'm like, "Well, what am I gonna do? We need the lights, so what do I do? I can't."
She's like, "We do need the lights."
Yeah. Will the Nintendo work if there's no electricity? The answer is no. So clearly, we're gonna have to work some stuff out.
And Dusty, might I remind you, it's the most expensive thing in the house.
Right. It's literally the only thing we can pawn.
Yeah. If we had 15 toasters, I'd be able to do it. But
right. It's literally the only thing that we can live without, that we can extract value from. And so I think she went to the pawn shop and somebody in a similar situation had to pawn their Super Nintendo / karate gi. And it just worked out that day that was like right in my wheelhouse, like that's the only thing I can think of, is that's, and so best day ever. And the Super Nintendo came with Street Fighter 2, so I was up in Street Fighter 2, just
wearing the karate gi.
Well, using the karate gi for my pretend wrestling characters that I had as a kid, because I'm an only child, so I would like make up wrestling matches, and I would be one of the wrestlers. And so karate gi was mostly used for that. Never took karate. So I had the gi though. Was ready in case karate classes also cost money. So we couldn't swing that, but I could get the gi, definitely.
I've been sitting here for minutes trying to figure out how to make Gee Whiz funny.
You and everyone else, man.
I guess the best way to do it is just to acknowledge it. You know what I mean?
Just to say that.
So you don't. So we went. I love the visual of a Karate Gi and a Super Nintendo. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh man, and
I'm surprised I haven't heard about that yet.
And it was excitement upon excitement because the Karate Gi was like cool enough, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah! And then under the Karate Gi, you're talking about a Super Nintendo, like when it's first hitting the street when it's hot.
Gee Willikers, Kathy.
Dude, you couldn't have told me that I'd ever experience a more joyous day than the one that I had that day.
That's wonderful.
Pure unadulterated joy.
So last week, I say we do the presents now.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I say we get them done.
Okay.
Because we've got other things to get to. Last week we decided that we are each going to get on Amazon and buy each other cheap, funny gifts, ridiculous things, or just cool things, whatever we went with. So, my issue today is I had three Amazon packages in my my mailbox.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
I believe this one right here to be the one that you got me. Do you think it'll fit in this?
I think so. There are two items. Because I went with one thing that is ridiculous that I think you might enjoy, actually, and then another thing that I know is going to make you furious.
Okay.
So
I like that. Do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
I will go first.
Okay.
And so I have here the package that Andrew got me. What was your thought process behind
the first thing, this isn't what it is, but the first thing I Googled was novelty Nirvana. I wanted to see if there was like some stupid ass Kurt Cobain like little figurine or like something stupid, you know, and I couldn't find anything good enough. The second thing that I Googled was, I swear to God, Bill Engvall. And the third thing I looked up was Bill Engvall poster, because if you put in Bill Engvall in Amazon, then it's just a bunch of bullshit that you can rent on Amazon. And I wanted to give you something physical. There's a bunch of his comedy DVDs and stuff like that, but I didn't feel like that hit hard enough. So I was going to do Bill Engvall poster if there was a good enough one. There wasn't. And then I just put in, I looked up sarcastic T-shirts, like a lot of sarcastic T-shirts.
Right.
That was like, you know, if you don't get my sarcasm, sorry, I'm too smart for you and shit like that.
Right.
But this popped up.
Okay.
And as if sent from heaven. To be honest.
I'm gonna mute my microphone so that I can open
hear all
this.
The rapping.
Yeah, and then
you better open it. But you have to be unmuted for the reveal, right?
Okay.
So
I'll rip it open, but I won't look, and then I'll unmute myself.
There you go.
Okay. Be right back.
Yeah. A fucking badger jumps out of the.
It's just a raccoon.
Yeah. I thought about, like, is there anything I could get that would literally jump out of the thing?
Okay, so I am now holding a second package. We're out of the Amazon package.
Oh,
so
there's two packages. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think there'd be two packages.
I'm going to take a look, and we'll see if I can see what it is. And I will let you know.
You probably will be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Dude, what even is this? It is I'm not sure that I can open this. It's in like here we go. It's like vacuum sealed in the thing.
Jesus. Yeah.
This, my friends.
Yeah.
Dear God, this is a flaming hot Cheetos. Oh man.
Yeah, and so I didn't guess at your size. They had small and 2X left, so I just went with 2X.
Yeah. Better to be. Look, I want to be comfortable when I wear this out.
I want you to be able to. I want it to actually be able to fit on you. You want a big Cheeto shirt, not a tiny Cheeto shirt. You know what I mean?
It's much
So you
funnier.
can wear that to weddings. You can
Yeah.
wear that to Christmas parties. If you could hold the Cheeto side towards the camera, just so everybody can see the whole
I'll
thing.
tell you this, my friend.
Oh,
It is
man. It's
double-sided.
glorious. Hell yeah, it is, dude. Is it like soft and kind of like silky? What kind of material are we talking here?
Yeah, it feels sort of nylon-y, but it's also like for sure polyester, you know? Like this will melt if I put it in the dryer. So I'm gonna take care with the the washing instructions of this flaming hot Cheeto shirt. I I am also going to tell you this.
Yeah.
This upcoming Saturday, I'm going to a family Christmas thing, and I'm going to watch the Iron Claw. I will be wearing this flaming hot Cheeto shirt to one, if not both of those events. So
listen, all I want is a picture of you wearing it. I was so excited when I saw it. When I saw that there were sizes out, I was like, God, I hope it's not just like there's just like children sizes left.
Right.
And it's gonna be big, but you know what? It's gonna be funny.
Imagine every size but small and 2X are taken up.
I know.
That means the amount of flaming Cheeto shirts out there has got to be way more than I thought.
Yeah. That's the thing. This is a very popular item, apparently.
Yeah, I'm going to wear it to the Iron Claw as like a funny reprieve from the sadness of that movie. Like, other people in the theater will be like, man, that movie's a bummer, but did you see that guy in his Flamin' Hot Cheeto shirt?
Fucking Flamin' Hot Cheeto shirt? That was boss.
I need to know where I can get one. All right.
If any shirt's boss, it's that one. So I have opened and put my hand in the package, right?
Okay.
I've got two things in my hand.
Okay.
They both are books. Did you give me 2 books?
I got you 2 books. Yes.
Okay. I have the correct one in my hand. I'm excited. I'll go first. I'll go. Okay. Actually, is there an order in which you want me to look at these? Because I have a way to do this.
Okay. Yes.
Because I could. Okay. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to hold them both up to the camera.
Okay.
And you tell me which one to look at first. Okay.
Okay. I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. I've got both in my hands. Okay. Do you want me to look at this one first or this one?
The one you just put up.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. So this is oh yeah. Okay, so Dusty got me a book, Deeper Thoughts by Jack Handey. If people don't know, Jack Handey is one of the most brilliant comedy writers in the history of the world. He worked on Saturday Night Live and he did Deep Thoughts. What were you doing? Whether they live in an igloo or a grass shack or a mud hut, people all around the world want the same thing, a better house.
Look at that. That's a deep thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something tells me that the first mousetrap wasn't designed to catch mice at all, but to protect little cheese gems from the burglars.
He's got one that's like, if you ever drop your keys into a lake of molten lava, just let them go. Because, man, they're gone. So that's part one. That's what I thought you would enjoy. So go ahead.
I wish my name was Todd, because then I could say, yes, my name's Todd Blankenship. Oh, I also wish my last name was Blankenship.
Yeah, I thought that might be something you'd enjoy. You're not going to get a ton of like reuse value out of that.
It's a good coffee table book. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good novelty. Second item.
Second item. I don't even know if I can like show this at my house. 500 Chuck Norris jokes. The Roundhouse Kick edition. As Dusty and I have talked about ad nauseum, we have also mentioned it on the podcast. But hey, you probably haven't listened to every episode. I hate Chuck Norris jokes. They're the unfunnies love Chuck Norris jokes, and You know me. I use unfunny as a slur, and the unfunnies are big fans of the Chuck Norris jokes. You want to hear a couple of them?
Please. That's the whole reason I sent you the book.
I'm reading to. You know what? I might just keep it like handy, and then like a random times in the podcast, I'll read a Chuck Norris joke. You know what I mean? Like throughout the podcast history, not just today. Surveillance cameras feel Chuck Norris is watching them. Oh my god, dude, I fucking hate these so bad. Chuck Norris eats on the bus. Chuck Norris poops lightsabers. Somebody made money by making this book, Dusty.
Yeah. They got $6.99 from me.
When Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, he already had 3 missed calls from Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris won at poker with Pokemon cards. There is no theory of evolution, just a list of creatures Chuck Norris is allowed to live. I just fucking, I hate it. I hate him so much, but that's great. I mean, you did what you succeeded at what I was trying to do with the Bill Engvall thing. That would have been funny if we both went and sent each other hacky comedy shit, but I couldn't find the right Bill Engvall thing to send you.
Well, so my initial thought was I wanted to get you one of those like big bathroom reader books of terrible jokes.
Yeah.
You know?
I was going to send you my joke book was one of my first things to think about too.
And I kept looking, and it was like 1001 jokes for kids, or like the best 101 dad jokes, or like what, and I just couldn't find what felt suitable.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, I used to have the Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy books. But those are actually funny. Jack Handy's
those
funny.
Are good, yeah. Those are
yeah.
good.
And not all of them hit, but Jack Handy is a legitimately funny person. And so
they all hit with somebody. You know what I mean?
Like, right. Well, and they all have that like that Mitch Hedberg quality to them. I wish my name was Todd Blinken.
Yeah, you know. They're not fucking Chuck Norris bashes 2 pans into his eggs for breakfast. Dude, what the fuck, man?
So
I'm so sad that somebody made money off of this.
That is not even the only. There are a ton of Chuck Norris joke books, and so that was my first thought, was like, oh, I should get a Chuck Norris joke book because Andrew hates. I don't know that that's the sentiment of the holidays, but I was just like, Andrew hates Chuck Norris jokes. That would be very funny to send him. So
oh my god.
I didn't even know it was the Roundhouse edition. That makes it extra good.
These are just like, it's just so stupid. Like the back says, a book for real Chuck Norris fans. Here everyone gets his money's worth. That's a fucking lie and a half. With old classics and guaranteed never heard new jokes bundled in a unique collection. Period. This is written, the back of this is written by, you know, those like dads that like those like 50-year-old dads that post political things on Facebook, and they're really bad at punctuation.
Yeah,
this just doesn't flow very well. Like this is a full sentence with old classics and guaranteed never heard jokes bundled in a unique collection. That's a beginning of an end of a sentence. That's not supposed to be. That's supposed to be after a comma or followed by a comma, and the rest of the fucking sentence is on there. You know. This Roundhouse Kick the Roundhouse Kick edition, also full sentence. The Roundhouse Kick edition,
right? You have to give it its own sentence.
In this unique collection, the coolest, funniest, and truest jokes are bundled. That's a fine sentence. It's a false sentence, but it's a fine sentence. And then it says pure laughter guarantee, 3 exclamation points.
Yeah,
people like the dads who are posting political stuff on Facebook, they love nothing more than 3 exclamation points, except for maybe 3 question marks. They love 3 question marks.
Yeah, well, it's got to be in groups of 3.
Picture.
That's the picture also helps sell it for me. That's why I decided on that one.
It's a really good. This is a slam dunk, Dusty. Like, it's horrible. It's fucking bad.
I've outdone myself.
The last joke is, there are no Chuck Norris jokes. They are all facts.
Tell them they're wrong.
Moment of silence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For comedy, for the death of comedy.
Yeah. We'll do 21 fucking suicide salute. We'll do one more.
Let me pick page 36. Just read me the first one.
Do you think the pages are numbered, Dusty?
Are they not numbered?
They didn't even number the goddamn pages. Here, I'll count to 36.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the second page of this one.
Yeah.
Which joke? What number joke do you want from this one?
The fifth joke.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chuck Norris bashes a 2. I already said that one. Chuck Norris bashes 2 pans into his eggs for breakfast. We'll go number 4. When Chuck Norris is buried, he carries his coffin himself.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything better to send to you. And I looked for a lot of different joke books. The joke book was the only idea I had.
It's funny because it literally, like, before I started looking things up, I thought joke book, but I was like, man, the Chuck Norris joke book is a good idea. Because I didn't think of, like, I was like, man, like, what am I, because I have, like, where is it? Oh, I'll show you. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have Milton Berle's private joke file.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's.
And Milton Berle actually funny. You know what I mean?
Does that have a page 36?
It does. There's a whole thing on black jokes. What?
Oh, no.
I haven't read this at all.
Yeah.
As soon as I turned it to it, it said black jokes. Oh, no. I'm not going to read any of those on here. But I definitely want to. I definitely
just tell them at dinner parties.
Yeah, what you said 36?
Yeah.
I can't believe there's a whole section on black jokes. Anecdotes. Which one do you want?
Hit me with the second one.
George S. Kaufman, the brilliant playwright and wit, walked into the office of Jed Harris one day. Harris, a producer, was a man of unique habits. On this occasion, he was seated nude at his desk. Without batting an eye, Kaufman said matter-of-factly, "Jed, your fly's open."
See? Jed gets it.
Yeah. Better than any of the Chuck Norris jokes. You guys, you want to hear one of the black jokes? I'm just kidding. No. I'm not going to do that.
The other thing about the Chuck Norris joke book that's interesting is, like, a lot of those, I think, came from, like, a Reddit or from some sort of early internet thing. And some dude has just collected all of those jokes and then published them and made money off of, like, he didn't write all those Chuck Norris jokes. You know, and not that they're all funny or anything.
No,
but
you're
like,
right. He compiled them.
Right. It's just a list. So it's not like, and I guess that it said there are new jokes. So maybe that's how he got around it. But he definitely didn't write every joke in that book.
No, I've heard a couple of these.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris can drown fish. I've heard that a million times.
Yeah. I bet the one about Chuck Norris got bit by a cobra, and after 4 excruciating days of pain, the cobra died. You know, I'm sure that was.
Guarantee there's some version of that in this.
Yeah.
There's a section of black jokes in this. I'm just kidding.
Oddly, there's a lot of things he says about Asian people in this book.
Yeah. Chuck Norris is also allowed to carry the yellow bag at IKEA. The fuck, man.
I'm so
Chuck
happy.
Norris took the frame out with him when he was born. What? Chuck Norris has Wi-Fi in space. Chuck Norris doesn't have pimples. They'd be too afraid to be squeezed by Chuck Norris anyway. When Chuck Norris walks into a room, even the chairs stand up. Holy shit. Comedy's dead, dude. Like,
that's it? Where you're calling it?
This is the picture. You can't even really, I don't know if you could tell on this because it's like glossy, but the picture on the front is like super low res.
Look, I'm telling you, this dude,
and there's lightning.
Yeah, he got to he got there first. That's like the thing that happened, is that's why
he got there 78th. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but
yeah.
like fucking morons will buy this shit and they won't.
$6.99.
They won't buy Milton Berle's private joke file over 10,000 of the his best gags, anecdotes, and one-liners. I wonder if how many of these he actually wrote.
Right.
Because in comedy, like people like they're street jokes or like jokes that like multiple guys shared, or like a guy had writers, or like
Or
Um,
anecdotes that like he overheard, I'm sure, that he just put in the book.
oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that was very very common back in the day. He's like, the black ones are all mine. All right,
Yeah.
dude. All right, Milton.
He's very insistent, you know?
He's really holding on to those black jokes.
Yeah.
So my dad bought me this book.
Starting to make
There's
sense.
a bunch of golf jokes. There's a bunch of. I didn't know it was by subject. I just like when I opened it, the fucking top of the page said black
Yeah.
jokes.
I really wanted like the big bathroom reader of jokes, or like somebody I know one time gave me a book of like the 1001 dirty inappropriate jokes or whatever, and I was like, why would you give this to me? Because you think I'm a funny person? This insults me if you think I'm a funny person, that I would think this is funny. Because I bet all of these jokes are bad.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand. Like I was, there's different types of funny people. Like I was at the type of people that like the Chuck Norris joke are the same people that I'm talking about right now. I was at the gym yesterday, and a guy showed up to the gym in a Hasbulla shirt. Do you know who Hasbulla is?
Is that the little? Well, I don't know.
The little guy.
Yeah.
Little guy. Yeah. So he's really like 20 something years. He's like 20, but he looks like he's like 6.
Yeah.
And he's from Dagestan. He hangs out with Khabib and all those guys. Became a big celebrity because he looks young and he hits people or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like Andy Milonakis or Joe C or whoever.
Yeah, but Andy Milonakis actually funny. Joe C, I've heard talented. You know.
Yeah.
But I was literally like, I'm between sets. I turn, I see the guy, and I think to myself, how unfunny do you have to be to wear a Hasbulla shirt? Because that's your personality. Listen, you have to wear a Hasbulla shirt. You have to be the funny guy,
right?
But you're not funny. So it's the same thing as the guy who fucking I don't know if he necessarily buys the book. I think like old men buy the book, but he loves Chuck Norris jokes. That guy is a big fan, guaranteed. Well, he memorized all of them.
I don't know that it's the same guy, but I've also known offensive T-shirt guy. An offensive T-shirt guy, his whole personality is, I wear offensive T-shirt at places where you shouldn't wear offensive T-shirt. Yeah. I go out in public where there are families and kids, and my shirt says, I shaved my balls for this. And he's like, see, because I'm funny. Like,
yeah, and they like, because they hear comedians be like, people are too sensitive. They think that means that you're supposed to be able to say whatever you want, whenever you want, in any circumstances, and nobody can get offended. And they're like, no, I'm just making a joke. These people need to lighten up, woke America, all that shit. It's like, no, dude, it's a whole different thing. Like, they want to be able to say whatever they want in comedy clubs. They don't want to be able to go to a fucking nursery or like at a children's book read at the library wearing your federal bikini inspector shirt with your with your inappropriate tattoo showing. You know what I mean? That's what I can't believe people who get nudity tattoos. Like, I just like, unless if it's like a tasteful pinup or something like that, and it's just her titties, like, I think it's dumb, but like, I don't get mad at that. But people who get like obviously vulgar tattoos, I'm like, dude, you just like, you're never gonna just have to like not think about covering your arms. You know what I mean?
You're like a Spencer's gift as a person, you know, because like that's where this guy would get his shirts. Like, this guy shopped exclusively at Spencer's, and I'm a band T-shirt guy. So like, I go on the Spencer's because they have band T-shirts. They have cool band
you're
T-shirts.
Like, I barely have room to judge.
Right. I look, far be it glass house, stones, etc. Whatever metaphor you want, but like, it is wild to me, some of these things that I see on T-shirts that I'm like, who would buy this? And two, what's the appropriate time to wear this? Like, I can't imagine that there's some proper time to bring out your "What did Hitler do wrong?" really T-shirt.
Like, free mustache rides.
Right, which is also a shirt that this guy I knew had. Why doesn't anyone talk about all the good stuff?
Oh, I think it was. One. I've seen that. Why didn't people talk about the good stuff Hitler did or something like that?
No, the guy who
Oh,
does.
really? Okay, let's have that conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think the dude who does my tattoos, it doesn't do them anymore, but who did my
said
tattoos.
that.
Well, no, he asked me, can you tell me if you eliminate the Holocaust, what did Hitler do that was so bad, really? And I was like, well, you can't, like,
Yeah.
one, you can't just brush aside that particular thing uh, as a thing. And two, plenty of stuff. Like, still
Yeah.
started World War II,
If you
still
if you get
stinks.
if you get rid of the car accident, how was Princess Diana's life tragic? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. What did the paparazzi really do wrong? You know?
Yeah.
Uh, so anyway, yeah, that's, I hate all of that. I should have thought about getting you a funny shirt, but you're not a shirt guy. So, like, funny shirt or not funny shirt, I guess would be more appropriate, but like, it wouldn't have worked. I think joke book is way better for you.
No, I think
Plus,
you nailed it. I got
plus there's an
I
off chance that you could have someone over and they could see the Chuck Norris book, and then that's even more funny to
dude,
me.
that's literally. I'd rather them find porn. I'd rather them.
That section
I'd
of the Milton Berle black joke book.
100%. I
Yeah.
100% would rather people find that because that I can explain that away. That's like a vintage thing. I didn't buy it for the. I just found out that the black jokes were in there. I've
Right.
had that for like 5 years. I'd rather not have. I'd rather have forgotten to flush the toilet after like a particularly bad situation.
Right.
I'd rather literally almost anything.
Yeah.
You
didn't know
reason,
you didn't know you
obviously.
left the door unlocked and they came in and you were in the shower.
Oh, dude, 100%. I'd rather anybody see me naked, anybody in the world, than find 500 Chuck Norris jokes in my house.
Not just 500.
And
not just 500.
oh yeah, the Roundhouse Kick edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even look. I'm a good friend. I sprang for the extra for the Roundhouse edition. Crisp $6.99
These
that
are
cost me.
so fucking bad, bro. The NSA is now doomed because nothing and no one monitors Chuck Norris and survives.
That's all. But see, that one's a low key political statement about our police state. So smart.
God.
If you think about it.
Listen, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
There's layers. Chuck Norris sends letter bombs by email. Do you know that? Chuck Norris plays Just Dance with a PlayStation controller. Chuck Norris has more credit cards than Max Musterman. Do you know who Max Musterman is?
Nope. I have no idea.
They got me Googling Max Musterman. I bet this is going to be good.
This book has given me so much. It gives back, and that's really the spirit of Christmas, if you think about it.
Oh. What the fuck, man?
Did he invent Visa
Max
or something?
Musterman. Huh?
Did he invent Visa or something?
No. Max Musterman is... Why did you put this in this book? Max Musterman is John Doe in Germany. So, like...
I see.
When
There's
you get
a lot
a sample...
of guys named Max Musterman.
No, meaning it's like the word that... It's like a placeholder name. So, like, when they send out the
credit card offers,
sample ID cards, it says Max Musterman.
Right. That's got international flavor.
Dude, what the fuck? That's a weird one.
That's
dude.
definitely written by a German dude. It's stolen off of German Reddit.
Yeah, and it says made in. Of course, this was made in Las Vegas. But when Chuck Norris looks at a French fry, it becomes a potato. Chuck Norris documented the invention of a camera on video. What? Chuck Norris can throw a flumie at the ceiling outside. Dude, this fucking sucks ass.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, we'll do a Chuck Norris joke, an episode probably.
Yeah, just a roundup. You know,
I have to but I have a reputation to protect. I have to properly convey my contempt for the Chuck Norris jokes every time we do it. So
that's fine. Doesn't matter to me.
Thank you.
Still doing it. Merry Christmas, buddy.
That was a good one. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Dusty. So we wanted to do. What did you want to do next?
Let's do the Christmas movie. I don't know that we're doing I guess we could do a draft, or if we
I
have.
say we just do. I did a top 5 for me.
Okay,
You cool with that?
I'm good with that. Yeah.
So do you want to go back and forth?
Yeah, we should
Do you
trade
want?
our picks. So 5-1,
Okay.
and we'll trade
Okay.
off. So let me organize them real quick. Okay. At number 5, I am putting the animated Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer claymation movie.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Classic.
I liked that as a kid. I haven't seen it enough to. I didn't rank that one. I didn't rank Frosty the Snowman. So
Oh, dude, we're talking Island of Misfit Toys, Yukon
that's what that's
Cornelius.
from.
Yeah, the
Goddamn.
Yukon Cornelius, the Abominable
Mm-hmm.
Snowman.
Mm-hmm.
Hermes wants to be a dentist. He doesn't want to be an elf. And then Rudolph is their homeboy. Teaches you all kinds of lessons. It's hilarious. The Abominable Snowman's just mad because his teeth hurt. Like
That's not fun.
no, it's terrible. We can all relate to
Yeah.
teeth pain. And I used to have an Abominable Snowman tie that I found at a thrift store that was just like him a bunch of times, and I don't know what happened to that tie, but that was a fun one.
Okay.
So,
Did you plan on
watched it a ton as a kid. Just bought it at Target so we can watch it this Christmas because I haven't watched it in a long time.
Man, you're a dad, bro.
It was $8 to rent it on Amazon, or it was $10 at the Target I was already at. So, you don't think that I'm going to be watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer every year? That's an investment.
Yeah, all you got to do is watch it one more time, and you're making money. You're actually literally making money.
Yeah, now they owe me. So
yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm on board. Number 5 might be a surprise to be so low. I don't know what your ranking situation is. Number 5 for me, Home Alone.
Okay, I have Home Alone
sure it's
on my
on your
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the thing that I remember vividly from when I was a kid was being really scared at the beginning of Home Alone when they show the wreath that has Santa's face on it, but there's a storm happening and his face looks real scary. I used to fast forward past that part. I don't know that anybody else would have any idea, but
I gotta watch this movie again. Like I remember the brother being a dickhead.
Yeah.
I remember Before I Pump Your Guts Full of Lead.
Yeah.
I mean, can't forget that. I mean, that carries the movie. If anything, if everything else sucked, that was good. You know.
Yeah.
I talked on my radio show today about how I feel like the robbers took it a little easy on Kevin McAllister. I would have fucked that kid up. Like, there's no way. You burn the top of my head with a blowtorch, and then fucking let a paint can swing into my nose. I'm gonna probably kill you. Like, it's probably, and I'm not a violent guy. I'm just here to steal a couple things. You don't have to fuck me up so bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just let me take the stuff and I'll leave.
Well, and you have to remember, like, he sets a nail up through the bottom of
I forgot about that.
And his naked foot lands on the nail, like straight up on the nail. Yeah, there's like, I remember in Mick Foley's second book, because he was trying to prove a point. Everyone was talking about how violent wrestling was back then, and they were trying to get wrestling thrown off TV. And he was like, Home Alone is a beloved family picture, but if you recount the injuries that the Wet Bandits suffer at the hands of Kevin McAllister, like, they're dead for sure. Like, that's easily
he's a terrorist.
Yeah, that's easily third-degree burns on Joe Pesci's head from that blowtorch. And
it's a very funny scene when he realizes his head's on fire. It's great.
It's like premeditated, right? He's got the Legos and the shattered bulbs by the window.
Yep.
And
that's what the shattered bulbs really pissed me off. Like, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, at a certain point, yeah. That's the thing that I think one of the funnier bits, if you watch it again, to really appreciate is they have like I don't know, it's like a statue in front of their house, and every time somebody drives up the driveway, they knock that thing over. Like, it happens 3 or 4 times.
I forgot about that. Yeah. That's great. This pizza guy knocks it over, right?
Yeah. So number 4 on my list, just watched it the other night. Muppet Christmas Carol.
See,
What?
and that listen, I was gonna. It's not on my list, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you why.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I almost put it on my list and said, literally, I haven't seen this, but I guarantee it's good.
I bet it's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's the thing that I think should happen. All of our best actors should have to be in a Muppets movie where it's just you acting versus the Muppets. Because that's really how you prove how good an actor you are. Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge nails it. Tim Curry, Muppet Treasure Island, of course he nails it. Tim Curry's great. Uh, but just watched it the other day. Michael Caine is fantastic. It's always really easy to do different twists on a Christmas Carol because it's such an easy story to tell and it's so simple.
yeah.
Um, really funny for the like as far as the Muppets go. Yeah, really enjoy it. Muppet
I'm on
Christmas
board
Carol.
with our best actors acting with the Muppets. Daniel Day Lewis, like
Yeah,
he
he
just
couldn't pull that shit off versus
he
him and Kermit one on one. No way.
he literally has to be held up by strings for 2 months before the filming. Um, but
Gangs of New
yeah,
York
I'm
with
sure it's
just the
good.
Muppets, he couldn't do it.
No,
No.
I haven't seen almost anything Muppets. And I've just heard uh, how iconic it is and funny and all that stuff. So I got to see it. But number 4 for me.
Okay.
Um, before I tell you what the movie is, do you know? Will you venture a guess what the number 1 selling Christmas single is? Music.
I would think it's All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah
You'd think
Carey.
so, wouldn't you? You'd think
Is it?
so, wouldn't you, Dusty?
That's
It's White Christmas by Bing Crosby.
yeah. That was going to be my other
So
guess because there's a movie, but I've
yeah,
never seen White Christmas. So
yeah. So first of all, I speak for the rest of America.
yeah,
Bit sick of the Mariah song, right? A lot of people really like, it blew up. It's a good song. I'm not mad at it. I don't
yeah,
hate the song, all that stuff. I like more classic Christmas music. I'm not saying that there can't be good Christmas music now. Big Dean Martin guy, Big Bing Crosby guy. I like all that shit. White Christmas, I saw it for the first time last year. It is just classic Hollywood Christmas. So it's big set pieces that look like stage plays with like backdrops and shit like that. There's
yeah.
like war scenes with explosions, but everything looks like it's made of cardboard. And Bing Crosby is a genius, or was a genius, incredible actor, incredible performer in general. Those fucking blue eyes, goddamn.
The snow is
Danny Kaye.
definitely The snow is definitely asbestos.
Yeah, it gave
Yeah,
everybody lung cancer.
yeah.
Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney. Like, it's just classic Christmas movie. I love that old school Hollywood stuff. I'm a mark for it. So it had to be on my list. So number
Okay.
4, White Christmas.
Number 3 for me, Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton.
Haven't seen that one either.
I implore
And
you.
I also wanted to put it on my list too, because
Yeah,
I almost did like an all comedy list, and like 4 of them I haven't seen, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's
No,
good, so I put it on.
I implore you this Christmas, please watch Bad Santa. One of the you couldn't make it now. Uh, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. One of the funniest movies I've seen in a theater. It was a great theater experience. Uh,
Okay.
Everybody's laughing. It's got like weird sentimentality in it, in spite of the fact that Billy Bob Thornton's just a real bastard in this movie. It's very funny. Yeah, it's the one that I go to that's like, they did it perfectly. Most of the time it's really hard to do that kind of comedy and do it well, but this movie nails it. And they try it again with Bad Santa 2. Bad Santa 2, not as good.
I remember when that movie was like being trailered and everything. I was like, man, I gotta watch that movie. It's another one of those movies. I was like, I have
Yeah.
to watch that, and I never got around to watching it. I like Billy Bob a lot. I like the little guy. I can't remember his
Yes.
name. He was in Friday.
Bernie Mac is in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I watched it again the other day. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I watched that again the other day. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a set of Bernie Mac. He's got to be in his early 20s. He's at the Apollo Theater in New York. The Apollo is very famous for booing comics off the stage and just being a brutal place to perform. They're a very mean room. And they said that Bernie Mac goes up there, grabs the mic, and immediately, right when he grabs the mic, he goes, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. And he has one of the most legendary stand-up sets of all time. Brought the fucking house down, and the material wasn't even that good.
He's just pure charisma. That's the one where he's got the airbrushed pants of himself, right?
Yeah, he's got his pants are airbrushed, and it's a picture of himself on his left pant leg. And he just kept
legend.
going. He would just tell a punchline, and he'd go, kick it, and the DJ would start playing music, he'd start dancing, and he'd go, y'all don't understand. Yeah. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You gotta watch it. If you guys haven't seen it on YouTube, watch that shit. It's great. Anything with Bernie Mac, I'm a fan of. Okay, so number 3 of mine. I considered putting this number 1. If I had to pick a most iconic Christmas movie of all time, I don't know if I'd say greatest, because maybe greatest Christmas movie of all time. Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Your money's at Bob's house and Ned's house.
Yeah. It's at everyone's house. Yeah.
Yeah. You want the moon? I'll give you the moon. I fucking love this movie, bro. Jimmy Stewart is one of my favorite actors. He's super good. Just his demeanor, his look, everything. Once again, classic Hollywood. Big It's a Wonderful Life guy. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I want to see it again. But I love the movie.
Yeah, and it's of course, it's the iconic. It's the one that comes to mind instantly for me whenever you say Christmas movies. And I'm sure you know this because it's kind of legend at this point, but Big Bomb, when it came out, not a hit at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then later it became famous because it used to run every Christmas because the rights were so cheap that they would just air it on network TV, and it became a giant sort of hit that way, which is very funny. But yeah, it's a great movie. Jimmy Stewart is great. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, also one of my favorite movies that he's in. It's quintessential Christmas. Like, when you think Christmas, that's the movie that I think of first.
It's one of those where just hearing any of the more famous scenes of that movie feels like Christmas. It's the same thing with a lot of the movies on this list. That's almost my argument with Die Hard. Totally okay to put Die Hard on this list. I'm not one of those it's a pineapple on pizza situation. I think the argument is more annoying than anything, right? But that's why I don't put Die Hard on this list, is because when I think of Die Hard, I think of Alan Rickman or sweaty John McClane in a fucking duct.
In a tank.
I don't immediately feel like I'm hanging out with my family on Christmas. You know what I mean?
Well, here's what I was going to say. I was going to jump to the end. I will take all the smoke. I don't think Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I don't... Yeah. The discourse can be what the discourse is. Of course, it doesn't matter. If you think it's a Christmas movie, fine. It's a movie that happens to take place when Christmas is happening. But none of the stuff is Christmassy about it. Which I think is the delineation that I would make.
It's like When Harry Met Sally, right? When there's a part in it, When Harry Met Sally, where they're at a Christmas party. There's I think New Year's, but I think there's also a Christmas part. And does that make that a Christmas movie? You know what I mean? Does it just have to have a Christmas moment for it to be Christmas movie? I understand but it's okay.
Yeah.
If you think it's a Christmas movie, if you would have put it on your list, I wouldn't have been mad at you. But
I was looking up Christmas movies today to make sure that I hadn't forgot any, and While You Were Sleeping was on the list, and I love While You Were Sleeping. That's one of my favorite romantic comedies. I don't think that's a Christmas movie, but I forgot that they have a Christmas party, and then they have a New Year's scene, and like it takes place around Christmas, but Christmas is not the central theme of that movie, so that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
but what does apply is the number 2 movie on my list, which we already talked about, of course, is Home Alone. Like, this movie, briefly, like, just a phenomenon, man. Like, I remember watching this so much as a kid and loving it, and like in the same way as Three Ninjas and
Yeah.
Surf Ninjas and all of those movies, like thinking like as a kid, oh man, wouldn't it be so fun to set traps and like be able to outsmart grown-ups. And
Kevin
uh
McAllister was the coolest person in the world.
when he sets up his like fake party and he's dancing with the
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger cutout or whatever, like it has so many iconic scenes that are so fun. The you what is it? I don't want to. He doesn't want to share the bed with the one kid because he drinks Pepsi and he'll pee the bed. He did,
Mm-hmm.
look what you did, you little jerk. Is
Yep.
the whenever Buzz is
His
telling,
uncle singing cool jerk in the shower. Isn't that
yeah,
his uncle?
yeah, his brother talking about how French chicks have hairy pits,
Yep.
and the nude
And it is
beaches and
true.
all. Yeah, and so just iconic kid Christmas movie that holds up. It's still fun to watch now, and now I watch it for like Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci performances, but it's still great.
It's the heavyweights thing, right?
Yeah,
Where you went from Lars and the kids to Ben Stiller being the best part of that movie.
yeah.
And I haven't seen Home Alone in a long time, but I would definitely look at it differently if I watched it now, uh, because I'd be seeing it through. That's even now. Like the one point I had earlier was I would have fucking killed that kid. Now I'm already seeing it from the
Yeah.
from the perspective of Stern and Pesci. You know what I mean? By the way, other package I got, some new RAM for my computer.
Oh,
This
look
this
at that.
motherfucker's gonna be running nicely, dog.
That's
I forgot I ordered this.
well, they did
um,
in the movie. There's the part where they do catch him, and they're like, "Well, what should we do with him, Mav?"
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and should we have a tarantula crawl on his face or whatever? And then the next door neighbor beats him up with the snow shovel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, what we should do is literally fucking suffocate him to death. We should tie we should get does anybody have a Target bag or a trash bag? We tie that around his head and then we wait until he stops squirming and then we kill him.
Yeah.
Like worse,
and also
but
not to be forgotten, John Candy's cameo in that movie
in the polka band.
Yeah, the Kenosha Kickers is you don't know any of our hits. Polka polka polka, all night polka.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Number 2 for me. Number 2 and number 1 are very close.
Okay.
Very close. 3, 2, and 1 really might be like a kind of a pick 'em. It's a dealer's choice situation.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me, Buddy the Elf, Will Ferrell,
Yeah.
Zoe Deschanel's fucking alt weird ass.
Yeah.
What's his name? The Scott Conn,
Yeah.
James Conn, James Conn.
Yeah.
Not
Father of Scott Conn.
Father of Scott Conn, the Wrath of Khan. Directed by Jon Favreau. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Elf, man. Elf is so good. I watched it on Monday.
Yeah.
We had a radio event. I gave out free tickets for Elf, 150 people. It was a lot of fun. There were prizes. Vibes were high. Elf is a lot funnier than I remember it being. Like, no, it is as funny as I remember it being. The funniness held up more than I expected it to.
Yeah. Yeah. Elf is like a perfect coming together of all of these elements where you're like, there's no reason that it should work. Because on the face of it, it doesn't seem like it would work. I remember whenever it was coming out, I was like, Will Ferrell's doing this movie? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then it's probably the best Zoe Deschanel's ever been for like her sensibilities. Because I don't hate Zoe Deschanel, but it can get a bit much. But like in that movie, it works perfectly. like you said, the jokes are very funny, and the way that they set things up and the way that Farrell sells everything is just so funny. Like he's just up for everything. Like his 100% commitment is what takes that movie over the top and makes it like an all-time classic to me.
Yeah, and I was I was talking to Kai about it, and she said I think it's Will Ferrell's best comedic performance, and I said, well, yeah, but I think Step Brothers is up there with it. And she said, well, if you think about it, it's like a very similar performance.
Yeah.
It's like he's playing very similar character in both. He does such a good job of playing just a joyful, innocent elf
Yeah.
that doesn't understand the world around him, and it shows kind of the cynicism and darkness that real life offers, especially in a place like New York. New York is a perfect place to set that in, and it contrasts it with the joy and optimism and love of Christmas, and it is just, it's so good.
Yeah, like
it's so good.
The scene where he hears that Santa is coming to town,
Yeah,
and he's so excited, and then he's like, "You're not Santa," and it's I think it reminds me a lot of some of the Jim Carrey performances where like Jim Carrey is willing this material that is not perfect to, like, he's putting it on his back, and since he's giving it 100%, it sells it to a degree that like it makes it work, you know.
Yeah, and then somebody like Carrey or Sandler or Farrell is given something that's really well thought out, and like it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Like Elf is such a good idea.
Yeah. And it's such a good idea for him. Like you said, like it works perfect.
So it's close to number one. It really is. It might be number one, but I've got another one. So
number one on my list, classic. Watched it the other night again. I'll watch it again next year. I'm going A Christmas Story.
Really? That's your number one?
Christmas Story is okay. There are so many scenes in that movie that are hilarious. And I was talking to Sarah about it because we watched it the other night, and it's like it perfectly captures the imagination of a kid and the way a kid thinks and like the way that they believe things. You know, there's the scene where he's helping his dad change the tire, and he flips all the lug nuts up, and he goes, "Oh, fudge." And he's like, "But I didn't say fudge. I said the word." Right? And then later he's getting his mouth washed out with soap, and he imagines a scenario where he comes back home. He's still a kid, but he's somehow an adult, right? And he comes home and he's blind from soap poisoning. And he's like, they'll all be sorry that they did this to me. And like that's the way a kid would think about the world. Or the scene where he thinks that he's trying to figure out how he's going to get the BB gun, because he's already asked his mom, and his mom's like, of course you'll shoot your eye out, right? And he's like, we have to write an essay for school about what we want for Christmas. And he thinks that he's going to write an essay that is so wonderful that it's going to tip the scales in his favor. Like so much effusive praise is going to be put on this essay that they'll have no chance to deny him this Red Ryder BB gun. And I like that's the stuff about it that I love. And otherwise it's really funny. The leg lamp, it's a very prestigious award. Like it's the dad is great.
How scary the shithead bully is.
Yeah.
Like, and they picked the perfect dirty evil looking kid for that bully job.
And, whenever the kid gets his tongue stuck to the pole because he got triple dog dared to do it.
By the way, second funniest. We talked about this recently. Me and Kai. Second funniest tongue stuck to a pole scene in movie history. Do you know what the funniest is?
Does it happen in Dumb and Dumber? I don't remember.
It does. So okay. Dumb and Dumber. Harry, Jeff Daniels, is on the skiing trip with the lady who ends up being the undercover agent.
Yeah.
And she's like talking his ear off, and I can't remember what he says, and I gotta find what he says. But the delivery of it is so perfect. She says something, he responds with something stupid, and then he just goes, "Oh look, frost!" and he puts his tongue directly on the fucking pole.
Yeah. The last thing for Christmas Story is there's another scene where he's imagining that the bandits are coming into the house, and
Yeah.
like his whole family is cowering under the table, and he comes out and they're like, "Oh no, it's Ralph, he's got Old Blue with him." and and he's like sharpshooting all of these bandits, and they're like, well, and he's like, "Get out of here, Black Bart." And
he's like, "You're gonna be pushing up daisies."
Yeah. Yeah, it's, dude,
I think you just resold me on this movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I didn't put it on my list. But I think you just resold me on it.
The last one is, I love the scene where he sends off for the decoder ring from listening to the radio show, Little Orphan Annie radio show.
And it just says drink more.
Drink more Ovaltine. But of
Ovaltine,
course,
that's what it is.
In his head, he's like, what secret message? Like, he's a spy, you know? And it's he doesn't know that it's all just marketing for this Ovaltine.
It's just some bullshit marketing.
Like, dude, it's so good, and it just captures that feeling really, really well of being a kid and the way that you think about things as a kid. Because I remember thinking, like, I would be so slick to like present an idea to my mom about like renting a video game or going to an arcade or something like.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. You almost have a whole PowerPoint presentation ready for.
Yeah, like I'm a decoder, and she's not gonna know what I'm up to.
She doesn't know you're trying to get one over on her. You know? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's great. I like I said, you might have just resold me on this. It was my favorite Christmas movie coming up. I just haven't seen it in a long time, and I didn't think to. Well, I thought to put it on, but I didn't end up putting it on, and I honestly think I got to revisit that.
It's Ralphie with Old Blue. Is the
oh man. I bet, given our conversation so far, I'd like for you to try to guess what my number one is.
Well, we're missing a couple of big ones that go in my also ran. So I would say it's probably one of two, but I will guess Christmas Vacation.
God damn it, Dusty. Christmas Vacation. Number one.
The thing is, I don't know that I've ever seen Christmas Vacation. I feel like I have, because I know like more of the famous scenes, but I'm not sure if I ever watched it or if I just thought that I had, and I just know it from osmosis or whatever. So it's on the list to watch this year, but it's almost like universal, where you can
it's so good.
See it without seeing it,
Yeah, there's a lot of movies like that, but this one, like, it's basically, it captures it. So it's hard to like. So a lot of Christmas movies, and the Christmas movies that have their place, they romanticize the idea of Christmas and all these things, and this like Christmas cheer and Christmas spirit and all these things. Christmas Vacation, Home Alone does this to an extent. Christmas Vacation points the camera at the family and the contrast between familial dysfunction and Christmas spirit. And Clark Griswold, Chevy Chase, who's one of my favorite comedic actors of all time, is a dad that really wants his family to care about Christmas. That like really, like, he loves his family. His family is dysfunctional, but he really wants his. I mean, you've seen the Vacation movies. That's not what Clark Griswold is like.
Well, and he wants it to go perfectly.
Yes,
so badly.
So there's him trying to, the movie starts with them going to get a Christmas tree and everything goes wrong. I'm not going to spoil a bunch of stuff for you, but a bunch of things fuck up throughout the movie, and his family finally shows up, and his mom is Doris Roberts, and as soon as she walks in, she grabs him by the arm and goes, "I've got hemorrhoids." Like, it's just like, that is like how families go. Like, it's
Right.
not like that. And then there's a scene where Clark, and this was actually me like last week, there's a scene where Clark stumbles upon a bunch of old film of him growing up. And he is like, this whole dysfunctional family thing is happening, and he's in the attic. I think he might be dressed as Santa when he's doing this, but I can't remember. He might not be. Or no, he might just have like a festive Christmas outfit on or something.
Yeah.
And he's been trying so hard to make Christmas mean something, and you just see him as this dope dipshit Clark Griswold, and you just watch him like almost cry watching his family growing up and seeing like pictures of videos of old Christmases, and realize that it's something that he's trying to keep going, and like all these things that he connects with. And it's just so good. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't like rate that, like a lot of, I saw a lot of lists where it was like, I was surprised it was like number 30 and shit when I was looking things up. But this movie means a lot to me. It's got Randy Quaid. Come on,
Right.
man.
Well, and
Before,
it's
before Randy Quaid?
if I remember right, like if it's not this movie, it's what you said as far as like vacation movies in general. Like, Clark always wants whatever they're doing to be perfect, to the point of psychosis, to the point of making everyone miserable.
Oh yeah, he loses his goddamn mind at some point in this movie.
Yeah, and Randy Quaid, his brother, is always like, they always put him at a disadvantage, or make it seem like on the surface like he's worse off, but he's happy and like he's content, and so he's the perfect counterpoint to Chevy Chase's character, because the best Chevy Chase is whenever he is like overmatched or outgunned by the world in general. You know, like he's a man who's
he's just
seeking,
starting to lose it a little bit.
Yeah, he's a man who's seeking perfection, and the imperfection of the world drives him to madness, and that's where a lot of his best comedy comes from.
Yeah, and with a little tick, like that's his thing. Is like, so he's either got to be super suave, like in Caddyshack, because I think he's brilliant in Caddyshack, and it was one of his best performances, or he's got to be kind of on the brink of losing it.
Yeah.
I think genuinely, like, one of the biggest tragedies in comedy is people hating Chevy Chase personally, like people like in personal interaction hating Chevy Chase, because he is one of the genuine geniuses in terms of physical comedy ever, in my opinion. And he was great as Clark Griswold. You've got Beverly D'Angelo as his wife, was a perfect wife for him. Juliette Lewis was his daughter. I forgot that she's the daughter in this movie. Doris Roberts is the mom. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the rich neighbor, which is a very hilarious arc in this movie. It's just very good. So
it's on the
I got to
list.
give it up. My mom loved it. I've seen it probably more than I've seen any Christmas movie. So big Christmas.
I've seen Vegas Vacation. That might be in the top list of movies I've ever seen all time, because it just used to play on TNT all the time, and I thought it was so funny.
Yeah,
and so I love the vacation movies, but yeah, I think the other perfect distillation of that is like in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is a Thanksgiving movie. So I couldn't be on this list, but whenever Steve Martin, after have you seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
I still haven't seen it.
Okay,
I'm ashamed that I haven't seen that one.
So
that's the one I'm ashamed of.
I'm sure it's like one of the more famous scenes, but like all this stuff is going wrong for Steve Martin, and he ends up at the car rental line with a woman who's exceedingly cheery on the phone, and then he's there in person, and he goes on this long monologue rant that's like filled with cursing, because he's just finally lost it. And that is the same as Clark Griswold. Like the comedy in that is the same, where it's just Steve Martin is finally overcome by the world that he's been trying to push down all these minor inconveniences, and he finally explodes, you know?
Oh, dude, Clark Griswold finally gets his Christmas bonus, and it's bullshit. So he fucking ties his boss.
Well, in the
But
original Vacation, it's like a cheese of the month club or something that he gets as his bonus.
I can't remember what he gets in this one, but
Yeah.
it's not good. But anyway, yeah. I think it's a good list.
Yeah.
Brian Doyle Murray's in this one too, by the way.
Oh, nice.
It's his plays his boss.
I was gonna
Noah's Arcade and
say
shit.
Scrooged is also.
I've only seen Scrooged once, and I liked it, but I'm not familiar with it enough to really consider it for the list. I do remember liking it though.
I liked it. Bill Murray's great in it, of course. It's the best version of Bill Murray, where he's an obnoxious jerk that the universe decides to take down a notch, a la Groundhog Day. Those are always the best Bill Murray movies. But it's a Christmas Carol, just kind of updated to the 80s, and I already had Muppet Christmas Carol on there, so I didn't want to double dip in that way. And then I had, at one point, there was a Jonathan Taylor Thomas movie called I'll Be Home for Christmas. Did you ever watch that one?
I think I did watch that one. Let me look it up really
it's
quick.
Like
I mean, if JTT was in it when I was a kid, I fucking watched it.
Right. He goes on like a cross-country trip to try to make it home in time for Christmas. And I remember as like a 10 or 11-year-old really enjoying that movie, but I've never went back to it. So, like you said, at that point, JTT is my guy,
Oh yeah. And this is like a little older JTT too.
I think this is the thing he did after he left Home Improvement, or one of the few things he did.
I'm sure I watched this movie, but I don't remember it at all. God, he was a good looking guy, wasn't he?
And he was in some other movie called Wild America with Devon Sawa that also stank.
Oh, I watched the shit out of that. I watched that movie a lot when I was younger.
Yeah. But those were more like in the consideration, but not really hit in the same way as my top 5 list. But I think both of us good top 5s.
Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess JTT's age
right now?
Yeah.
Oh man, so I'm gonna say that he is 42.
Dude, you nailed it right on the head. 42 years old.
Look, champion.
He turned 42 on September 8th. Let me see if this will play. Nope, I can't get any of the media to play in here. I tried to play the clapping.
Well, just know, put it in post.
Yeah, I gotta figure out. I gotta write these people. Hey, none of my shit'll play.
There's a movie I watched this year called The Holdovers. That's directed by the guy who directed Sideways, and it has Paul Giamatti in it. That's a Christmas movie that was really, really good. It's maybe my favorite movie of the year. I'm going to compile my list next week for the top 5 movies I saw this year. But I really, really enjoyed that. So whenever it's really expensive to rent digitally right now, I'd wait. But it's a very good movie. It's kind of a dramedy situation.
I'll do top 3 movies that I watched this year because I only watched 3 movies that came out in 2023.
I'll wait in bated breath to see how you rank them.
It was, what did I watch? I watched Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
I watched The New Flash, and I watched Oppenheimer. I watched 4 movies then because I watched Oppenheimer and I watched. Did the newest Black Panther come out this year?
No, that came out last year.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Oppenheimer.
Okay. Let me see. Well, if I can put it by next week, I'll have put them in the order that I think that you put them in. What a wild, what a wild 3 movies to have seen.
Dude, I feel bad. They gave me a free movie pass. I used it 3 times.
Yeah, if you don't have time to golf, you don't have time for anything.
No. I hope they send me another one. I'm a little nervous.
Do you even want to guess the amount of movies that I saw this year? I kept a list.
You have a number?
Yeah. Or do you want to wait till next week because I'll have seen more movies by then?
Let's wait till next week so we can get a final tally.
Okay. I've also come up with a new system that I'm going to use for next year to keep track of everything. But,
okay.
Yes, I have the number. So,
right.
Did you want to talk real quick? Maybe we'll just do. You want to do top 3 Christmas songs.
I'll do. Let me think. I'm gonna do top 5.
Oh, okay, I can do top 5 too. So,
And I'll just go fast, so it's a little quicker.
okay,
Because we're
five
already at an
to
hour and a half.
you do your 5-1, and then I'll do my 5 to
Yeah.
1.
My top 5 are number 5. I'll Be Home for Christmas. Number 4, White Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Silver Bells. Number 2, Winter Wonderland, and number 1, All Alone on Christmas. All Alone on Christmas, not a song that everybody knows. I got to look up who even sings it. This one is because my brother Darlene Love sings All Alone on Christmas.
Okay.
My brother Jacob sent us a video when I was a kid, and it's from, I think it was on Home Alone or something like that, or Home Alone 2. I think it was on Home Alone 2. And it just reminds me of my brother, reminds me of Christmas. It's a great song. But the rest of them, mostly just because I love Dean Martin so much, and he had really good versions of Winter Wonderland, Silver Bells, White Christmas, and I'll Be Home for Christmas. I mean, Winter Wonderland, man.
Yeah.
In the meadow, we can build a snowman.
Yeah. There's like every Christmas, there's this internal battle at the church that I play drums at because they want to do Christmas songs, which is fine. I don't hate Christmas songs. I hate trying to play drums to Christmas songs because almost none of them lend themselves to playing drums. At least your classic sort of Christmas songs, right?
Yeah, you need like a timpani.
Right, and I just don't want to put I don't want to put a backbeat to Away in a Manger. You know what I mean? Like it's not for that. So, and that's fine. I don't need to do it, but there's always this pressure to do it. And so the one that you can there are some, Go Tell It on the Mountain, you can do a pretty good version of. But Winter Wonderland, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, all those are sort of jazz kind of standards that have like cool arrangements, especially if you're talking about like crooners and stuff.
And Silver Bells,
yeah.
You can go.
Yeah, Silver Bells is a beautiful song. Like,
oh, dude.
Yeah.
So when we did the Elf event this week, usually what we do is I play our radio station when people walk into the place, so they can kind of hear the music that we play on the station. But when we were getting it ready, like, I care so much about vibes with these events that we do. Like, I care about the whole experience, the whole package, and our music would have felt a little out of place in that. So I was like, screw it, guys. I'm playing Christmas music. Yeah. So that when they walked in, I just played Dean Martin Christmas songs. And his Silver Bells, man.
And that's a fun vibe.
Ring-a-ling.
Like, yeah. It's because, like, of course it's a little boozy, like it's a little,
of course
it's loose, it's boozy, it's a fun time.
It's America.
Yeah. And so I like your list. My top 5, I'm going Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Okay.
Holiday Road. I love Holiday Road. I know people.
Is Holiday Road a Christmas song?
I think so. It's holidays. Maybe not.
Holiday Road. If it reminds you of Christmas, bro, I'll give it to you.
It's in the movie The Holiday, which is Christmas.
It's a good song.
Yeah. Lindsey Buckingham, dude. I think is
Lindsey goddamn Buckingham. It is Lindsey Buckingham. It was written for National Lampoon's Vacation, by the way.
Hell yeah, dude.
I can't believe Holiday Road on your list. That's sick, dude. Number 4 for me is Smoke on the Water.
Hell's Bells. They don't specify what bells. Hell's Silver Bells. Number 3 from my old church days, Silent Night. I think, regardless of what you believe for Christmas, like, just a beautiful song.
That's a good one.
The melody's wonderful. I like a Jingle Bell Rock. That's
I wrote and then deleted Jingle Bell Rock. I got too dense with Dean Martin stuff, but Jingle Bell Rock was one of the first ones I wrote down. So it's very good.
A shout out to Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, but not number 1 on my list.
You will get a sentimental feeling. Do you think that girl, like, I was thinking about that I heard that song And I was thinking, like, when that girl recorded that song, she had no idea that billions of people were gonna hear that.
Right. It was just studio work for her, you know?
And she just rocked that
Yeah.
shit.
That's,
Like, it was her version of that song is so good.
yeah.
But yeah.
And then number one, another church song, but Come O Come Emmanuel is like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's right on the border of what I like. Cause the first time, of course, that you hear Carol of the Bells by like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, that shit melts your face off, but like too much, you know? Like there's,
Yeah.
I think it's a little too much with like the Ingve soloing and all of that, but like Come O Come Emmanuel is like a beautiful song, and the way that you can arrange it, there's a bunch of different things you can do. Um, Not on the list, and don't suggest it for me, Little Drummer Boy. No, thank you. Don't need
You
it.
sick of that one?
I just
But
that's
you're a drum. But you play the drums, Dusty. You don't.
I know. I have this gift to bring, parapapum, but like every year, that's the one. They're like, "Oh, you could do Little Drummer Boy," and I was like, "Yeah, you could. I won't,
Yeah.
but you could."
Yeah, you could go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
huh? I like "Oh Holy Night"
Oh, Holy Night
a
is
lot
really pretty.
because and if you got somebody with some pipes, like the
That's
fall on your knees part,
yeah.
oh man,
That's the part. That's the thing is like all of those Christmas songs, you need somebody who can belt like
who can
to
really get after it.
yeah.
Yeah,
They have one called Jesus What a Wonderful Child, which I really like, which is kind of like a Elvis-y kind of boogie woogie song. That's like newer, I think, but that was always a fun one to play because that one was written with drums in mind. So uh,
didn't Weird Al do "The Night Santa Went Crazy"? Is that what it
yeah, The
was?
Night Santa Went Crazy. I was gonna say that one. Blue Christmas by Elvis is iconic, obviously.
Dean Martin has a version of that one too. It's amazing. I haven't even heard the Elvis
Oh,
one. I bet
okay.
the Elvis one's really good. Elvis is a bad motherfucker. Um, so yeah, that's super good. I was a Silent Night. No, I was an Away in a Manger guy when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I'm not particularly into that song anymore. I think it's kind of boring, but for some reason when I was a kid, I loved that one. That was the one I always looked forward to. That one in Silent Night.
yeah,
Um, but I'm with you on the Emmanuel. We sang it at my sister's husband is a choir director. We went to his choir concert, and he does the choir sings a song or two, and then the whole audience sings. And his audience, his church, they're really into hymns,
yeah,
and they sing in parts. Like everybody there are tenors and there are bass, and so it sounds like a choir. So it was a giant room of people who know how to singing that song.
yeah,
It was incredible.
yeah.
So
Um,
I like that. I like that you threw a couple of the church songs in there.
Well, it's just like, again, like I said, whether or not you're a church person, of course, totally up to you. But like growing up, it's hard not it's hard to shed some of that stuff, and also recognizing like there are beautiful sentiments in some of those songs, and
Yeah.
some of them are incredibly well written as far as like the lyrics and the emotion that they're looking for. Like,
Yeah, and there's beautiful sentiment and tradition in the Christ story, right? So like, you could not believe in Christianity itself, but still understand the warmness, the protection, and the love that you're supposed to feel through the story of Christ, right?
yeah,
So like, and Christmas itself, in the traditional sense. So a lot of hearing those, I understand that it like people have different ideas of it, and that's totally fine. But like, it is warm to hear a lot of those
yeah,
things, and the songs are beautiful. Like
yeah,
some hymns, like some of those old hymns and the old Christmas songs are really beautifully written. So because a lot of the best musicians back in the day pretty much only made things that you could sing to Jesus.
right.
So
Or they took existing songs and changed the words, and those are songs that
yeah,
had
that
like
happened a lot.
incredible melodies anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's there's time and place for the Christmas music.
Oh yeah.
But like the really it hits when it hits, it hits. and I'm for it.
Yeah.
Like,
And I used to shit on Christmas music a lot. Up until like I think it was like last year on the podcast, I brought up that I hated Christmas music, and then I was like, yeah, all they've got is like silver bells, jingle bells, rock around the Christmas tree,
right.
white Christmas, I'll be home for Christmas. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, maybe
Winter
maybe I
Wonderland.
like Christmas
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Who, but all right, we're under 2, so you want to play the box office game, get out of here?
Yeah, we can round it off with the box office game. Hopefully they did like a Christmas week. Nope, April 17th, 1992. So, that is
Oh, of course,
right.
April 17th, 1992.
Yeah, isn't that just the week before
Yeah.
the LA almost burnt to the ground?
Yeah, I believe that's if you listen to Sublime, that's the week before he got new home furnishings. So,
Yeah. So we've got so everybody listening, we have the box office game. Box office game is a game in which a website gives us a week that existed, and we have to pick the top 5 movies from that week in order. They give us the distributor, the gross from that week, the gross it had grossed, the amount it had grossed total, and I guess how many weeks it had been on what it was the previous week, I guess.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really matter that much. So we generally have to you spend points to get more clues. Generally, we spend how much is it for? We spend $40 to get the tagline, because the tagline is a really good clue for a relatively small price. Now, number 1 is a TriStar movie that made $6.6 million. This is 1992. Number 2, 20th Century Fox. It made $6.1 million. Number 3, a Universal film made $5.9 million. Columbia Pictures, number 4, made $5.1, and Universal, number 5, made $5 million. So, do you have any hunches? Do you want to go first movie tagline? What do you want to do?
Yeah, so the first movie is in its 5th week. Last week it was number 2, and this week it's number 1. I don't have anything that jumps out to me initially for this week. So go ahead and hit me with the tagline.
A brutal murder, a brilliant killer, a cop who can't resist the danger.
So this is
when did Sesevenin come out?
Sesevenin is 1995.
Okay, never mind. It sounded like you had an idea for this one.
I think that this might be A Silence of the Lambs.
Do you want me to try that?
Let's try that.
Is it A Silence of? I thought it was The Silence of the Lambs.
Just Silence. The Silence of the Lambs.
The Silence of the Lambs. Okay. Miss.
Dang. Okay.
Dang city, bro.
All right, hit me with.
Good thing they got that booty sweat in Da Nang.
Hit me with actor number 1.
So actor number 1 costs 40 points. We get 200 points per movie.
Yep.
Michael Douglas.
Oh, this is Basic Instinct.
Basic. I'm really struggling to type. That toddy was hot. Yes, nailed it.
Yes.
Number 1, Basic Instinct. Sharon Stone and George Dunza.
Yes, directed by.
The fuck kind of name is Dunza?
Directed by Paul Verhoeven of RoboCop and Starship Troopers fame, and also Showgirls. So Paul Verhoeven all over the map.
He is all over the map. I'm looking at George Zunza. Don't recognize him. You probably would, but it would fuck up the thing for me to show you.
Yeah.
So the second movie, 20th Century Fox, fourth week on the docket, $6 million this week, $48 million it had made total. And that's total thus far, right? That's not total that it ultimately... Yeah, because there's a final gross area. So it has made $48 million in 4 weeks. So it had some big weeks.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me that tagline.
It ain't easy being this good.
Well, that ain't gonna help me. So let's go with actor.
Is there like a Is it like a good something movie? It sounds like that's what the tagline would be, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or
It's not Good Burger.
it's like a grifter sort of movie, you know?
You want to go with the actor?
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes. Is this White Man Can't Jump?
that's what I'm thinking.
Let's
I should have see the tagline. That's immediately what I thought. So,
nailed it.
yep. Thank you.
All right, we got to go with our instincts from now on.
Yep. Got, of course, Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a funny movie. The story behind Wesley Snipes playing basketball also funny. He didn't know how to play basketball, but he's like naturally athletic, and so they had to like get him to slow down because he was like going too fast. Try to.
Oh, I have a buddy who was too fast when he was trying to learn basketball. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He would outrun the ball. He couldn't dribble as fast as he could run.
Yeah,
and he was like the kid in Mighty Ducks who couldn't stop when he was skating. It's great.
Yeah. So
that reminds me of the Norm Macdonald joke of have I told you that when Norm Macdonald at a sports show and he's doing like the highlights like Sports Center style and he's like Russell Westbrook steals the ball and takes it coast to coast for the jam, which would be a lot more impressive if he wasn't so tall and black.
Sounds like the kind of joke you could get in your Milton Berle book. Yeah.
Oh man, it's straight out of the Milton Berle joke book.
All right,
but,
number three.
Number three. You ready for this tagline?
Hit me with the tagline.
We got $5.9 million in this week. $23 million thus far. It's been on the thing for 3 weeks. This is a Universal picture. The head of the family is the one with the tail.
I believe this is Beethoven.
Oh Jesus Christ, that's a good pull. I used to love Beethoven.
Oh yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
Nailed it, bro.
Beethoven,
look at you.
I believe.
I don't remember that movie hardly at all, but I've watched it so many times. I watched that movie so many times.
I remember one of the first times that I was truly angry as a child was in Beethoven whenever that guy goes and frames Beethoven, the mean doctor guy, and he like riles Beethoven all up and then puts like fake blood on him. And I was like, you son of a bitch. How dare you frame Beethoven?
No, I don't remember that happening.
No, that's oh man, I was so mad because I was like, Beethoven's so lovable. Don't believe this guy's clearly a creep.
That's funny. Okay, yeah, you nailed it. We've got David Duchovny's in that movie, by the way. Columbia Pictures, number 4,
okay.
$18 million total, $5.1 million this week. Down 48% from last week. So I had a pretty big week last week. This is the second week that is on the airwaves, right. I guess. You ready for that tagline?
Tagline me.
The first Stephen King story written expressly for the screen.
Oh. Huh. This I might not know. Okay. Hit me with the actor, number 1.
Brian Krause.
I do not know who that gentleman is. I apologize.
Well, let's see. What King movie could have came out in 1992?
Well, I mean, there's like, and I don't know if it was later, like adapted to a book, or if it was, because I'm thinking like Tommy Knockers might have been around this time.
That's a movie, huh?
Yeah. Needful Things, but that doesn't star this guy. That's a different guy. And Needful Things was a book. Give me the second actor.
Madchen.
Don't matter.
Amick. I thought it was. I couldn't tell if it was an M or an R and an N.
Give me actor 3, and then if I don't react, give me the director. We'll try that. All of that.
Alice Krige.
Nope.
Mick Garris is the director.
I'm gonna need you to reveal all clues because I don't know what movie this is.
This can't be like it. This can't be one of the big ones.
No, because those were all
no,
books, and books in the 70s and 80s.
kind of a movie in the night. You know what I mean? Charles Brady and his mother Mary are the last of a dying breed whose needs are not of this world. They are blank, able to stay alive by only feeding with the life force of the innocent.
It's goddamn Tommy Knockers.
Tommy Knockers.
I bet it's Tommy Knockers.
Is there a space?
No, I think you're looking for all one word there. The Tommy Knockers.
Dude, I'm not I'm spelling Tommy Knockers and nothing is coming up.
Maybe the Tommy Knockers.
I'm gonna Google it before the Tommy. Oh yeah, it is the Tommy Knockers. What the fuck? Like, what is that name?
They're like made up. Like
it is not an option.
Put a space.
It's not an option.
Oh Jesus. Okay, well, keep reading it then.
You picked a movie that is so obscure,
so unknown
that it's not an option. I'll keep reading it. Able to stay alive by feeding on the life force of the innocent, but destined to roam the earth, avoiding discovery while searching for their next victim. That search takes them to a sleepy little town of Travis, Indiana, where beautiful teenager Tanya Robinson is about to become an unwilling pawn in their nightmarish fight for survival.
Well, I guess I give up. It's not Tommy Knockers.
Sleepwalkers.
Oh, okay. Come on. That's very similar. You got
Sleepwalkers.
You got your Sleepwalkers. You got Tommy Knockers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of something that rhymed, but I couldn't.
All right, Stevie. Old Stevie King.
Number 5.
Yep.
Universal. I wonder if Jacob, if you got that one, message us.
Yeah.
Number 5, Universal. $5 million. It's its first week on the list. You ready for the tagline?
Hit me with the tagline.
There was only one. Could this be Highlander?
There was only one. This is Highlander.
There was only
this
one.
Might be Highlander 2.
Oh, really?
Because there was only one. Now there's 2. It seems to beg the question,
Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Highlander 2,
You want that one? Miss.
Oh. About Highlander 3. What's happening with Highlander 3?
Are we sure it's not the first one? Are we overthinking this?
I'm fairly certain that it is not the first one.
There's no Highlander 3. They all have names. Highlander: The Final Dimension, Highlander: Endgame, Highlander: The Search for Vengeance, Highlander: The Source.
Uh-oh.
Or Highlander.
Before I go down the Highlander rabbit hole, let's reveal the first name. Because if it's not Christopher Lambert, then this is not a Highlander movie. So
John Goodman.
Oh no. Oh, is this the Babe? I think this might be the.
Oh, dude, that movie stunk. By the way,
this might be The Babe.
Why? Nailed it.
All right. Where'd I end up?
They got so much. They portrayed Babe Ruth as so much fatter than he actually was in that movie. People act like Babe Ruth is like this giant obese piece of garbage. He's like 215 pounds. He was just fat compared to all the skinny people in the world at that time.
Right, and
he's built like a brick.
Right, and he was strong, but strong for his time. He
was strong like an ox.
Yeah, I think like you wouldn't. Obviously, Babe Ruth was an athlete, but you wouldn't say that he kept what we would consider now to be an athlete's routine.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's much fatter guys in baseball right now. Right. It's like Pablo Sandoval's way fatter. Yeah. He's not really in baseball. I mean, he's playing in Saudi Arabia for Blood Month.
Prince Fielder.
Fatter, just much fatter than Babe Ruth. Yeah. So, but anyway.
So I scored 520 points. With
62nd percentile,
in the 62nd percentile. So Stephen King really screwed me over. But
yeah, he fucked you.
I'd be surprised. Like, clearly, I guess some people got it, but that's a tough one. That's a tough week.
I bet Jacob got that one. But just because my brother's a weirdo.
Right.
and just like a few years older than you,
Yeah.
which allows for, you know what I
Well,
mean.
and as a fellow weirdo,
I think he is, right.
yeah, I think so. As a fellow
Yeah.
weirdo, I
So
understand. Um, if it had been a famous Stephen King story, probably would have got it. But Sleepwalkers,
yeah, that's why I like asked, but I didn't push too hard because I'm like, if it's a famous one, Dusty knows. Like,
yeah.
I'm not.
Well, and it would have like a better. Again, I was like, I don't know the origin of some of these King books because he's written so many books that it's like, well, it could have started as a movie and then he wrote a book to accompany it or whatever. Who knows? But clearly,
So
Sleepwalkers is a blind spot on my list.
I would never have gotten Basic Instinct, even though it's a very famous movie that I've heard of a bunch. I just wouldn't have gotten it. I got White Man Can't Jump. I would have probably gotten. I would have gotten Beethoven at the plot. I wouldn't have gotten it with the tagline or the actors. Wouldn't have gotten Sleepwalkers, and I would have got The Babe eventually. I might have guessed The Babe after John Goodman, but
I thought King Ralph maybe, but then for John, have you ever seen King Ralph?
I've never seen King Ralph. No,
he becomes the King of England, but he's John Goodman, So
hell yeah, dude! I'd watch the shit out of that.
Hilarity ensues. Very similar in plot to our Danny McBride sitcom that we were going to pitch, Cardinal Law.
I forgot about Cardinal Law. Hell yeah, dude. Well, and then they made The Righteous Gemstones.
Right. So we were going to have, through some sort of hilarious happenstance, Danny McBride gets elected Pope, and they can't do anything about it. And then Patrick Stewart is the cardinal that has to show him has to teach him the ropes, and he's your classic fish out of water situation.
Yeah, I mean, we should workshop it. You know what I mean? I know some people now.
Yeah, we could pitch some ideas.
Yeah.
So anyway, Andrew and I, we thank you to everybody who listens. Hopefully you enjoyed this Christmas-centric episode, and hopefully you have a great time celebrating the upcoming holiday, regardless of what version of it you celebrate. We hope you have a great time, and we'll be back next week because the Snark Marks don't rest. We're all year round, not just like Santa, lazy-ass Santa. So we'll be back next week with more podcasts.
Did you know that Chuck Norris never gets in the house? The house is afraid to get internal bleeding. That's not even a fucking joke.
Wah, 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 wah.